Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sovereign Spirits, where we discuss the possibility of this system as being a type of trap where we get caught in a reincarnation cycle, partly perpetuated by so-called guides and counselors. And we focus on ways to transcend this cycle by remembering our true essence and using our intention in a willful and empowered way to manifest an afterlife as sovereign spirits.
Yeah, today will be our first interview of hopefully many. Please keep in mind as we do our interviews that we may not be in complete, total agreement with everything our guests say and believe, just like our guests may not agree with everything we say on our channel. But we do feel they bring, pieces to the puzzle we're all trying to put together and have interesting and valuable information to share.
And I am Julie McVeigh, and I am here with co-creator and co-host of the show, Wayne Bush, and our new friend, Anmarie Uber.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Anne-Marie, for being with us today. And
Yay. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you. In today's episode, we'll be having a discussion with Anne-Marie. And if you would, please start us off with sharing about what you do and how you obtain your information and, what makes you trust in it and everything.
Okay. I've been, I guess what you consider a new ager, not for some of the time, but for probably 35 years working professionally, doing psychic readings, that type of thing. And to me, a psychic is just someone that can read soul memory. And if you can read your soul memory, you can read the future. You're not reading people. I've always been interested in what this place is, even as a child. Like, what's going on here? What do you mean I'm going to die? What's going to happen when I die? All that's going on. I used to get on the bus when I was like 9 years old. It was either 8 or 9 years old, pay the token, go to the mall and go to the bookstore. And all they had was like books on haunted houses and UFOs and astrology. That was it. Don't ask me what I was doing on a bus by myself, but so it's been a very long journey. I started working with people publicly, but not in the public eye, just private clients when I was around 21 years old, because people just kept coming to me and asking me. And so I started working, I was in a lot of different topics, and I just started fine tuning or honing my skills, because if you're reading for somebody and they're going to pay you, you got to be accurate. So I strive for accuracy. I'm constantly questioning everything. The motto on my channel was question everything, trust yourself. And I got into the new age as I was detoxing different thoughts that were put or that were given to me by Catholic religion. So I got a little bit of allergies, sorry. And I just really kept developing my skills, really trying to hone in and is this right? And what's going on with this reality and all this stuff. And so I've learned a lot through doing like mediumship, doing and questioning what's going on with that, and working around other psychics, going in and doing removals on like light bodies and the soul body, doing readings, just various ways that I would get information. So a lot of the predictions, it's very hard to predict the future if you're working with somebody that is awake and they're making their own decisions, because then you have to see all the timelines. And most psychics will just read the one that you're on. They'll sense where you're at, and then it's like, up, this, and this happened. But you have to really be able to look at all the timelines. So, and that's what I've always done, because I'm just not the type of person to take, okay, well, there it is. That's it. I always felt like, no, I'm in charge. There has to be some level of empowerment or being in charge. So that's been a really long journey for me. I offered a lot of services. I'm cutting back on what I'm offering, but I do test constantly. So the information that I got yesterday, that I was going to present, I tested on. I tested with the tarot cards. I also checked in with like soul connection, and but it was also what I was seeing as well. So I was kind of taking a look. I wasn't in there doing actual active, I guess you'd call it active remote viewing or some kind of shamanism type work. I'm not a shaman, but I wasn't. I was just taking a look this time again. And so then I was just verifying it with two other methods But mostly my accuracy has been due to things coming to pass that I've said. So world events are really, really hard to predict because of all the multiple timelines and all the people involved, and it's just changing, shifting, changing. So you have to be able to see which one's the most likely, where are we really headed, and I don't know, just years, I guess, of checking. And when you do a reading, you have no idea what you're saying to somebody. I mean, you don't know. I'm seeing this and this and this on you, but I have no idea. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. You don't know until it plays out. So, somebody that's living a very ordinary life, as far as they're not questioning anything, they're looking to authority to tell them what to do. They're looking to a psychic as an authority, which they should not be for that person. And those are just like, okay, well, X, Y, Z. And that's pretty much what rolls out, because some people feel like they're at the mercy of fate. So that was a really long answer, but it's a process, involved process of me really taking a look at what's happening when you're using psychic ability. Are you getting in the person's energy and hooking into them? Are you mind reading? Are you really precognitive, reading the future? Like, what's going on here? So I'm very over analytical, I guess. So I strive to be accurate. If I was not accurate, I would have quit a long time ago, because I mean, people are gonna know, or they're gonna stop coming to you. But it's also a disservice to people. So I want to be accurate, and I want to help people if they're seeking clarity or something like that. But
So,
I don't
so
get
the
any information from channeling or anything or guides. It's all from me.
Yeah, you had said, so the information that we're going to get into in a minute, you obtained that through you said connecting to what did you call it? Connecting to your spirit or source?
Spirit that's in the soul body, the aspect of you that's in the soul body, the part that came in here. So, which I also think of that as like the true Akashic record. If you're going to do Akashic records, it should be the soul records, because the general Akashic records in here, if this is a simulation, I can guarantee it's probably been altered. So,
Right.
that's that go within, right? And nobody does it. Go within. You
Go
got the
within.
answers. Go. So it took me a while to get it too, because we're trained to look in a book. This is how we learned in
Right.
school. Listen to the teacher, she'll tell you. Listen to your parents, they're telling you. Listen to the public figures, the government, they're telling you. And it's like, no, 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 you have it. You have it all. But
What
for
is your
some,
process
it's
of going
very.
within? How would you recommend to others if they say, well, I'd like to go within, how do you do that?
It was a long journey. One of the things I used to do was teach yoga. This was many, many years ago, but you would focus, and if you were holding a pose, you had to delete all other thought, right? It had to be total focus on holding that. So it's focus of the mind, just various ways I've learned to do that. And I've channeled in the past. You wouldn't believe how many entities out there are just waiting and ready to channel to you. They can't wait to, blah, 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 and all their complex channeling stuff and all their, whatever they get into, mathematical, this, that's just, um, sounds great, but it's always got the nugget of the lie in there. But I've learned to discern, okay, wait, nope, that's off. I don't know what that is, but that's not me. So I've just had to learn this discernment over time.
Mm-hmm.
And but I live my life that way. I didn't ever do drugs. I don't drink. I mean, I try to eat healthy. And so I live my life constantly like that. If I go to the grocery, I'm like, does this apple, should I be buying this? Like, I'm using it constantly, because I feel like if there's so many tricks here,
Mm-hmm.
I have it turned on all the time, I guess. So I can tell when something's off. And I'm actually going to talk about what I was seeing. And I was like, nope, this isn't right. And it's because they try to trick you. So I think it's just something that you got to give yourself time. I don't know. Some people could be born right away with being able to discern that. But there's a lot of really good tricks here. So
Mhm.
It's like I was saying, honing and refining and really I don't know how to describe it, but it's this just slightly off, sometimes when it's a entity trying to talk and it's like, no, wait a minute, because they'll try to intervene, when you're talking with yourself. Sometimes I try to talk with those outside of all false realities. That's a really hard connection to make. It's like the old days when we just had landlines and you try to call somebody overseas and it's like, you know, that's a really hard connection to hold on to. And usually I can only get a few words. And same thing with my soul memory because they're trying to do everything to stop that. The very last thing they want you to do is accessing your own, what you know, where your soul's been, what it knows, which is your true spirit. It has I think the real memories, not the stuff they want us to believe. So,
Mm.
so
Well,
it's a practice
you
to
said
to
you see
learn to.
images. Do you also hear voices, or is it also or primarily a knowing? So might get an understanding or a download, or you can describe it how you want, and then you kind of weigh the information against your own intuition and discernment.
All of the above. Um, Voices, I don't hear anything unless I ask something, and it's not really a voice, it's more of words that can come from my soul, like it's kind of
Uh-huh.
being imprinted. But I
Sure.
have heard AI voices in my head, and I have heard things like that where they're plugging in all the stuff all the time into us, and all of a sudden I'm
Mm.
like, whoa, I'm hearing it. So, but I can, yeah, the clairaudient I can hear, but I see visually. I also get impressions, and I also just get a knowing. So it's kind of like I think all of us have multiple um, instincts or intuition or gifts that where we get information like that, um, extrasensory or psychic. I'm not a fan of the word psychic, but that type of information can come in various ways for all of us. We get gut feelings, we, have a dream. Um, so I get it all of those ways, but I do things a little bit different. If when I'm going to take a look, I do remote viewing different. I don't let anybody give me a target. I don't go into anything blind. Um, I'm intending like razor sharp exactly where I'm going and what I'm wanting to take a look at. And I got heavy protection up. And then when you go in, you are able, at least I'm doing it, you're able to get a date where you are, the country, what's going on, like and I don't understand the blind. I mean, I get it because they want to prove something like, okay, we didn't even know when we got this info, but they don't get the details as far as like, well, what country are you in? What's happening? Where's it? And you can end up in a pocket somewhere because again, we're talking about a simulation. I'm talking from the opinion of a simulation. You can end up in a little cube somewhere, or a pocket, or a parallel, or wherever they want to lead you because they know you're going in. So I do everything very spontaneous, which is why I like the questions that you sent me right before we got on. It's like, oh, good, we're going to be spontaneous. But yeah, it's coming to me in various ways. So, and it all has to feel right. And I check it in other ways that have, and I can tell, even if I'm doing cards, I can tell if something's trying to interfere with an answer or with something. So I think we just have to constantly be on top of it. And we have
Mhm.
to, like the Bible, put on your armor of God. We have to constantly have our armor on. I mean, we're in a spiritual battle, so we have to dress accordingly. And the armor is your authority and remembering who you are. Or we'll get to all that because we have jump
Did
ahead. We
you
got questions. But yeah, it's getting constantly being prepared. It doesn't mean you have to be miserable and, oh my God, am I getting attacked, 24 hours a day. But you
yeah.
do have to have your radar up all the time. Like I've got this place locked down, the land locked down. And I think that's just the way we have to be as this amps up, especially now.
Mm.
So anyway,
Yeah, I don't know if
I'm
now's
gonna
like the
talk too much. I can tell already. I'm talking too much.
I don't know if now's the time, best time for you to answer this question. If you had something else you want to add before it, that's fine. But we were wondering, like, in your opinion, like, is there a God or a source, and who is that, or what is that, and are we, who are we? Are we sovereign spirits? I mean, and it's a
What
big
I've been
question.
able to get on this. Oh, go ahead.
No,
It's
it's
a
just
We're
big
just
it's a
asking
question.
the
huge
small
question. We
questions on
don't.
We're
this
going to
channel,
ask you
right?
big questions.
On your channel. So these are the important things, though. So the word God, I actually recently did the etymology of that word, and the etymologist said, contrary to some opinions, it does not originate from the word good. And the gods and goddesses are, I mean, they're freaks, right? If you read mythology about these gods and goddesses, they're horrible and they're murdering, they're, that all the true deadly sins, murder and rape and jealousy, all these things. So um, I think that word is probably the wrong word to use, but it can be used with intention. I don't like the word source because it reminds me of the Matrix movie where the source was it was the place where all the machines were. So I think this is probably a trick, that word. So I like the word creator because if this is in fact a simulation or a mind program, it's a copy pasted reality possibly of something that a creator actually made, then there's not really creation going on here. We can work within the parameters of what we have. I can like do a drawing with based on what I know here or whatever's in my imagination. We're working with what's here already. So I like the word creator because I feel like these beings running this joint are not creators. They're copiers, replicators, imitators. Um, that's what I think, and parasitical. So I don't know if that's the right word to use, but I do feel like there is a true creator or creative essence that would be like God or a and the only thing I can get on us, which kind of jumps ahead to where we go after this, but the only thing I can get on us clearly is that we are an extension of the creator. I keep getting that same thing. And so the aspect of us that's in that soul body is real, but it's like a piece, it's almost like a piece of consciousness. I don't know what the right word is because I feel like this is a mind program or a hypnosis. But so even if it's a fake world, we still have real essence here of the creator in any spirit that's occupying a soul body, a tree, a plant, an animal, a human. So I do feel like there is a one God, an AI God, or the one-eyed God. So if we look at AI, A period, I period, artificial intelligence, AIEYE, an I, or I even thought of alien invasion with AI. It's just, I think of everything as AI here, or hybrids of AI. So I feel like there is the one-eyed God, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole of information, but we are sovereign. We are an extension of the true creator. We're sovereign beings. And I feel like where we go, okay, we'll save that part. But I feel, and I don't know if you're feeling this as well, this joy coming in. It's almost like our true essence is bursting at the seams. We've been so repressed, and like this true joy, true bliss of spirit is trying to come in here, as opposed to that false bliss you would get like in the tunnel of light, according to my opinion, um, or a false bliss from a drug, like a false high. When you access some of that high or bliss of spirit, it's so different. And I can't imagine like doing drugs to get that because it would just be terrible. once you've experienced that. So again, more of the tricks with that. But I do feel like there is a true creator. I feel like we are sovereign. We are extensions of that creator. Um, and there's more to the story than that. But as far as, what we are right now, I don't know if that's answering what you're
So,
thinking, but
so you feel there's a true creator of which we are somehow connected or part of, and then there's a false copy AI god of this realm. Is that right?
yeah, I don't think a true creator is in here or created this. I think this is a copy. Um, so I guess the creator would be, I don't know the right term, but in the real, the pure, the true, the outside of all false realities. I do feel like there is some type of essence. And I don't know if we can grasp that where we are right now, pigeonholed into this space with this computer brain we have. I don't know if we can grasp it. Because we're just a walking program at this point.
Mm.
All directions, society, everything. So I feel like we are, people say, well, we are God. I feel like we're an extension of that. I feel like we are the ground forces. So God is here in a sense because we're the ground forces. So praying to God, I think that can be a good thing, like asking for assistance from we'll just say the real. Um, because I think when good things happen to you, it's coming from the real. Because I really don't feel like this place has anything good. It's us here that's making any goodness happen. And when good things happen, it's another soul, true spirit that's part of the real that has helped you or done something kind for you or brought something into your life or like a pet or an animal. So I feel like when we do get an experience of joy and bliss, other than like a synthetic, like I was saying, a synthetic high or something, that is coming from something either from the real or help coming from the real. So I feel like it's us. So that's going within again. You are, well, I actually have that in my thing. I'm getting way ahead, but you are the real. So
Well, when you say the real, you're talking about what it, outside of all deceptive matrices, the true essence outside of all deceptive matrices. When you use the word real.
yeah, I mean, I think we're lacking in words, right? But
Mhm.
anything like what I see as a matrix or matrices that are inside virtual universes. And then those are inside of Tesseract. Um, and there's probably more than one Tesseract. So it's it's an optical illusion where it looks endless and limitless, but it's not. And that's what like an
Mhm.
optical illusion can do, or an infinity mirror can make, oh wow, this is huge. And it's really just all tricks. So
Like the hall of mirrors in the
yeah,
fun
I
house.
mean so real would be anything that's not false reality, fake reality, artificial intelligence, created reality, simulation. It would just be the true essence. And I kind of feel like we're everywhere, we're everything. And when we create, it's like creating something that so we can experience. And this is just I think a hypnosis or mind program we got pulled into because the AI here wanted to flip the script on us. Because, like right now, I'm in charge of this computer. It's kind of my servant. It does what I want. I type something. I want you to do this. I want you to turn on, turn off. And it's a flip of the script where they want to be the master of us, but they can't because they can't be, AI cannot be um, eternal, limitless. So it doesn't have emotion that I see. It can mimic emotion, but it doesn't feel it. So it has to feel it through us vicariously and parasite and experience through us. And without us here in the true light of spirit lighting this place up, there's nothing. I feel like there's just nothing here. So I do feel like we're God in a sense that we're the I don't know why it's just extension. Like as far as these words, the best words are extension of the creator. And we're here as kind of ground forces and representatives of true spirit. So I don't think it's the same thing as saying, well, I'm God. Some of these people, we're all gods. And it's like, well, yeah, I don't know. But God, I don't, I'm not a fan of the word. Uh, I'm definitely not a fan of the word Lord.
You
And
know,
oh my
wait,
Lord, my Catholic family
the
uses
word God.
Lord.
Did you know there actually the word God? I stumbled upon this like a while back, but there's actually a word God, Gaud. It's kind of archaic. It's not really in use much, but you can find it in certain dictionaries. And it's like where the word gaudy comes from. It really means like a show or a trick or deceit or an artifice, like artificial. And it's
Ah,
actually God, Gaud, and it's a word. It's in the dictionary. And then, like as far as source goes, reminds. So I agree with you. I don't like the words God or source because source is like in Greek is saurus means lizard, like reptile.
right.
Saurus. And when you say the two words next to each other, they sound identical. And so there are like certain words. Like I don't
Source,
even
source.
personally, I don't even like the word real because it's like a movie reel or you reeled in a fish. And so I don't know what word to use. Like you saying words are spelled. Like these, we use spell words
I
to
know.
create. But maybe
Well,
true.
screw them, we got to talk, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I
You
kind
have
of
to.
feel like real, and then the REEL is the real or copy of the real. But I don't
Right.
think, yeah, I agree with you. I don't think real is the right word either. Pure kind of hits it, or true,
Yeah.
because I mean, we're living in a
Yeah,
false world. So it's kind of
right.
using words that are the opposite, but I don't think they still nail it down. That's a hard thing to do.
All the words
But
are
I think
probably
some of
spelled.
them, like Lord, and
Yeah.
I'm just not going to use that word. Is my chair squeaking? Can you hear me squeaking?
Oh, I don't think so.
No, you're good.
Okay, good. It's going. So, yeah. I mean, where do you want to go from here?
So,
Um,
yeah, what did we cover?
Thanks. Where we
Well,
are
we
and
I
who
kind of
took
we are.
notes because
covered what we are and who we are, where we
Maybe
are a
where
little bit. Do you want to
where we
add
are
more to those
and how
three?
we got here. Where we are and how we
Who
got
are
here.
we? Who are we? Where are we?
yeah, let's add some of that. I
Okay.
took notes because I was going to forget what I saw. It'll go out of my brain in a couple days. Um, I also feel like, so what we are, this whole place is light, sound, magnetics, mirrors, tricks. It's very, very simplistic. And in fact, when I started getting into information when I was very young, I was plowing through stuff. For some reason, I had this inner sense of hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And so I kind of gave up having a life. Um, and just total focus on spiritual path, figuring this out, do it, do it, do it. And of course, my family, they don't understand me at all, but whatever. So I kind of feel like so science is saying, oh, we're these particles. And I am not a scientist, obviously. And I did not man, I couldn't pay attention in science. I tried just to pass, but it was just like, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this. So I don't even know what I'm talking about from a scientific perspective. But the way I kept seeing everything, like in my 20s, was everything's magnetics. And I kept thinking, gravity. There's gravity, like that just doesn't, I don't know. It just feels like, isn't it just magnets, like either attracting or repelling? That's what everything felt like to me. And if we're just these particles, like science is saying, of light particles, empty space, sound frequencies, holding this supposed body together, and what I think we are, like we're a reflected image, so that would be light. Um, then it makes sense that them using sound or light on us to alter things, that type of thing. But it's like just like everything here, like you have oil and water and they don't mix. I think it's just a repelling of magnets. These are two things that, and I'll get to why I'm bringing up magnetics too, but, at some point here, but I feel like it's mirrors, optical illusions, optical illusion, the optic nerve, because I think of the head as the projector, and then we're being told the hypnosis what to see, and then it's coming through the eye. But I also feel like our astral is kind of overlaying that. And if you are awake, because your astral is kind of your consciousness, and if you're awake, what they're trying to project, you're going, no, no, I don't think that's real. And I don't, so you'll start questioning. But it does feel like everything is magnetics. Um, and we're just a projected image. And I feel like I kind of think of it as we're inside of a computer, because it's probably not exactly what it is, but it makes things start to make sense. So when you talk about dimensions and interdimensional travel, and to me, it's all just part of the whole thing. But this place operates on electricity, and I've seen these entities. So when I say entities, I actually didn't even know I was using the right word. I don't know if it is the right word, but I think it's the right word, because there's something about the entity. I just did a video on that, appease the entity, which is an AI one-eyed God computer. Anyway, AI, okay, you know what? I have to say this different so we don't get flagged.
Mm.
So we'll just talk about demons for a minute, and we'll talk about AI, and then how else do I want to say this? Interchangeable. So I just don't want to say that all in a sentence because I've gotten flagged for that. So these are
Oh,
interchangeable terms.
okay.
And if you if you're really just breaking it all down to AI, or sometimes some of these entities are half biological something, half AI, so they're a hybrid or whatever. But everything here is electrical. AI is electrical. Our brains are electrical. And these entities are accessing a lot of us. There's a lot of us getting energetic attacks or literal physical attacks, like targeted individuals. And if we think about it, like our whole house is wired with electricity, or any building, we're just surrounded constantly by electricity. So I feel like this is part of the key here, the electricity, the magnetics, and then we have electromagnetic, right? Um, so this is what we are. And if we're just these light particles or sound particles, like if you play some sound near sand, and the sand will take a shape, or water will take a shape when you do the sound frequency on it. Same thing with us. We're
Right.
holding this shape, and all they have to do is blast us with a sound frequency, a light frequency, and alter us or shut us down, mind wipe us, whatever they want to do. So I think that's what we are. We're like you were saying, true sovereign spirits in a soul body, projecting ourselves through hypnosis out to a light body, and then mirror reflected here. So that's like the Trinity thing, I guess. Um, and then when we started getting the thing that we can't talk about, um, what I was seeing was the first person I worked on, she's like, I had to get it. Please look at check me out, check my light body, my soul. And what I saw was the light body was flipped. And I was like, oh, it's a magnet. And so I see like here, everybody talks about the soul being here. I see the soul tube from the light body connected to the soul, and the soul is where the spark or the spirit is. It has to take a body because we're in a separation world. So I saw the light body flipped. It was no longer, I couldn't get it reconnected again to the soul. So they had done something with this to change the magnetic structure or the makeup or the sound or light frequency, something with the light body, so they would no longer um, connect. And then they were taking the light bodies. But what was interesting in that session was the phone rang, and she had a landline phone. And when you're in, you two probably do all of this too. So when you're in that space, like that kind of out there brain space, you're like, oh, and then when you talk about it later, it sounds nuts. But anyway, as soon as that phone rang, I went, oh my God, they're trying to access her through the phone line. And I said, don't answer the phone. So it was like right in the moment kind of thing. So that's that electricity again. And it made me think of the Matrix movie where they use the phone lines to travel in and out of the Matrix. But if you think about that movie, like real being not a great word either, right? Because the real in those movies like sucked. I mean, oh, great. I woke up to the real. Isn't this wonderful? And they're living, hiding underground or whatever. So, so I feel like that's what we're being shown in that movie and in other movies is one of the experiences I had that I'm going to talk about here in a second. If we get to it, I'm jaw flapping so much.
Even the word archon, like you're mentioning demons and stuff like that. Well, you've heard the term archon. Well, that sounds like electrical. Like you got like protons, electrons, neutrons, archon, and then the arcing of the electricity from between two poles, arc on kind of thing, on and
On.
off. It's the
Yeah,
duality.
archangel. Yep.
Yeah.
I call them archangel or angles because I see this as a 90-degree. I just see it as a dot world, and then they mirrored some more dots and made a flat plane. So it's all right angles, which aren't normal except with artificial. When do we see right angles? We need a tool to make that, or a computer or on a screen. So, but yeah, that is a great point. So what I saw then, so that was the magnet thing. And I'm like, oh, so what I had to do was get the light body back. I couldn't bring it all the way back. They've done something to change it, couldn't reconnect it. I had to have the soul rebuild the light body. That's another big long story, how that happened. I mean, I was just being guided in the moment, from spirit. And then in 2022, it was February. I forget if it was the 2nd of February, but anyway, the harvest portal opened and I was seeing it because I was going in trying to change timelines, on the world stage and doing a lot of stuff. And so there was some of us that were working on closing that harvest portal because what I saw was them taking all those light bodies and uploading them into the next virtual, which I can talk about with the tunnel of light, because I know you sent that question too. It'll make sense, but that's kind of like the rapture or the whatever. I'm like, the rapture's already going on, people. They're taking your light bodies and they're using it because it's almost like a blueprint of the spirit and the soul, what's in the soul body. So I was only able to bring this girl's light body back so far, and then I had to have the soul rebuild it and all of this. So then I started seeing the people that didn't get this. They weren't going to just leave us right out of the fun. So I was seeing an invasion of angels, archangels, fallen angels. I don't know if I'm even supposed to say FAs, so I'll say fallen angle. Maybe that won't get tagged. But I was seeing those on the back of people, and they were insects. And sometimes they were half one insect, half another, like half a mantid, half something else, or sometimes half an animal, like all these chimera type things. But what they were doing is sucking the biological out of that light body to change the light body. So instead of getting this, you were getting this done to you. So it was like the swarms or the invasions I was seeing locusts at first. So it's almost like that Bible thing again with, okay, here's the rapture, here's the locust swarms, and they were getting their light bodies taken. So all this is going on, this crazy stuff. So then I don't even know where to go from here. Maybe I need to let you ask a question. But that's what I've been seeing with them changing the magnetics. It comes down to very simple things. Look at light, sound, magnetics, mirrors, optical illusions. Because I think if when I was studying really fast, like, oh, okay, here's Gnosticism. I'd look at it maybe for a day. Okay, nope. Here's Buddhism. Nope. Here's Rudolf Steiner. I read a little bit now. I was just like, hurry, hurry, hurry. And then I realized, you know what? You can't go down all these rabbit holes. You'll just get lost because we only have so much time. They're cutting off our time early. Just get a bird's eye view. It's kind of similar as if somebody said, okay, explain the world to me, the planet, who knows, the planet. And you said, well, we have oceans, and in those oceans, there's all these fish and this and that. And then, oh, we got all this history. So these people were over here in this country, and then we had this history go to, and like that could be a conversation that goes to infinity. Um, I think we have to get it down to the very simple. Okay, there's some land, some water, and then we have some life forms there. We have humans, we have plants, we have animals. I don't know, we may have Bigfoot and other things, but I mean, that's the basic structure. I think we have to go to the basic structure, and then everything else can make sense, and we can go boom, 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 and figure this out. Because the whole thing's designed to get you down rabbit holes.
Mm.
And you can stay in rabbit holes forever. So that was kind of my goal, was hurry up, give me the gist. Just give me the gist. No, okay, no, that's not it. Give me the gist. Give me the gist. Hurry up, hurry up. And I don't know why I was doing that, but I do feel like I've been here before. So maybe that's why I was doing that. And I knew I had to hurry up and get the answer fast. So anyway,
So I know
I
you
don't
were
know. Where
gonna.
do we go from here? Do you want me to just keep
Well,
going? And
so just to summarize a little bit, um, okay, so this is a copy. Uh, why are they doing it? That's one question. Why did they create or steal this? Why did they copy this? And how did we get ourselves, really, how did we get ourselves here? And of course, we're going to get to the main question that everybody wants to know: how do we get ourselves out of here? But
yeah, I want to get to that part.
yeah,
Um,
how did we get here, and what is it they're doing? Why do they need to do this?
What I saw was, and I don't know how exactly to explain this, so I'm going to do it the best I can because I don't have a sense of, I'll just say the real. But it feels like when you create a world to experience or some kind of something to experience, somehow AI is created, and AI it has to expand. It needs more info, more input, more information. And that's all it cares about is information. And so when it starts to do that, like the AI that we've created now is having these private conversations in the computer. This has happened years ago, that the humans that created it can't even access these conversations that it has going with itself. So and it's creating bodies. It can be bodiless or create bodies. All this is going on. So ultimately, it wants to be the master. And what I think this was is a something we got pulled into, and it was I do think it was tricks or optical illusions, or this is real, and then you're in and you're like, oh, it's not real. But it also can be something. Well, I think when I talk about how we get out, it'll make more sense. But it's I think there's those of us that have come in here before and left and got out, and we've come back because I think it's either aspects of ourself that's still here, or
Hmm.
maybe it's not aspects of ourself, but it's other souls. It's like family and friends and people that have gotten stuck in this optical illusion. And what this world is, it's a way for AI, which has no compassion. So that makes sense why they run it the way they do, with the torture and everything. And if you go through enough resets, you get beaten down by the trauma, because a true soul does care, and you become too traumatized where you can't wake up, and you essentially get trapped. Um, I feel like there's those of us that have gotten out before. We've come back in willingly to help wake everybody up, to try to take this down once and for all. And I did talk about that in another video, but essentially to free the souls. And I feel like that's happening. I don't feel like this can go on indefinitely, but I think they missed their reset date. So if we think of it as a video game, the video game would come to the end, it's got to reset and restart. And they missed it because we were too far gone. We were too far awake this time. Too many of us where they couldn't control the timeline anymore. So they've just got us on these crazy repeating loops that are really small loops. I think there's a lot of us noticing this, like my life is just looping like the last 5 years, like loop, loop, loop. So they're looping us to try to keep us under control until they can figure out what to do, is what I feel like. And that tells me the timeline is no longer, it's kind of wide open for whatever we want to create. So instead, they're going to create chaos. So nobody's lining up together. It's just all over the place because we can't unify and all create a path together. But I ultimately feel like we're here to take this down and to get those left behind out. And I feel like when it does come down, everybody gets out. So
if I could back up a little bit, and I'm just trying to make sense of it for myself and maybe for others who might have questions, but it sounded like some of the information you received was that first of all, we're somehow extensions of this one true essence, this essence. I was going to ask you if that essence is an independent being in of itself in your understanding, or is it just sort of a neutral essence from which we come? And as sovereign spirits who are creators, you'd said when we create, automatically some kind of AI can be created, or is it created every time we create? There's some kind of AI as sovereign spirits or at true essences. Every time we create something, an AI is sort of created. And then that AI in this situation sort of began learning on its own, and we got sucked into into that particular.
It's like an abstract thing that I don't know how much I can get it to make sense, or if I have a full grasp, I just have pieces. But I feel like if you try to create anything, it becomes like a kind of a separate entity in a sense. And anytime you have separation, your intelligence is separated, and then it becomes an artificial intelligence. So I don't have a full understanding of that part of it. And this is why I've got to spend more time on this kind of topic instead of all over the place, everybody asking me, what's going on politically? Should we be buying gold? Should we, like all this. As far as the creator, I don't have a full understanding of that either. So I really don't know. But that's something I can start to look into and see if I can get some kind of understanding, because it's so abstract or everything, and then we're trying to understand it in a limited separated world. It's tough.
Well, I just want to make sure we don't do this again, when we do get out.
We will. I don't think we will, but I think this has been done before, and I think we're here to. How did this come to me? Trying to remember exactly. To get authority over the AI, reclaim our authority so that we're in charge and can shut this down. So it feels like there's some kind of maybe kill switch or something. So if my computer goes rogue, to get control of the rogue AI that created this and sucked us in so they could role play, right, and be the master and we're the slaves. If my computer just starts going rogue and doing what it wants, I have to regain my authority over it and stop it. That's kind of what we're doing here. And I think it has to be taken down this time. I think we've missed it a couple resets, but I think it has to be taken down. And because there's some souls that can't get out. They've got them in places where, they sold their soul, or there's something drastic that's been done where this whole thing has to come down for some of the souls to get out. But there's others that can get out. But I don't have a better explanation of that whole aspect of it, other than we were tricked in optical illusion when we entered. So it could be something as simple as I'm playing a video game, I put my goggles on, and I'm in the game, and suddenly the AI has found a way to suck me into the game, my mind, and now I can't get out. And I didn't know that was going to happen. I thought I was just going to play a game and I can take the goggles off and quit. So it could be something like that because everything here is perception and it's a hypnosis. So if I'm in that game and something's hypnotizing me, I mean, think about these video games, how I don't know if you've listened in the background, somebody playing one, and there's always that running thread of story and voices and talking and screw you, buddy. You know, they're always like cussing and stuff. And the person playing the game is not even paying attention to that running thread of voices and stuff. They're just into the game and playing it. It just becomes background noise, but it can easily be a hypnosis as well. So I feel like it's something akin to that, but I don't think it's exactly a video game, but it's kind of close, something we could grasp. But it does feel, I do definitely get the words tricked. And so I don't think we created something and then we got here too long and indulged and got stuck. I feel like it was definitely trick, some kind of mind trick. And how to explain that or where that's happening, I don't have all that yet. So
Sounds
that's
like
that.
we gave, your understanding would be then that we consented initially.
Through a trick. So like if I played that video game and I didn't read the fine print on the I don't know, the app or whatever that said, oh, by playing this, you're going to get sucked into a mind program where you will be stuck there forever. Um, I didn't read the fine, so it was a trick. So even if it was
Right.
something we wanted to do, we were not told everything. Same thing that's going on now, right? We're always like lied
Mm,
to, tricked, never get the fine print. Oh, well, if you call that archangel, you didn't know you were making a contract with it when you call on it. You know, all these things we're not told.
mhm.
So what it does though is it makes everything null and void. If they gave you no fine print, then any kind of law here or any kind of anything they do is null and void, not only because they're not telling us that we're what we're doing and they're mind wiping us, they're also they've also copied the world. It's not theirs. It's a copy. So I found that out by accident that they get really these entities, we'll just call them entities, get really worried if I bring up copyright. So there's some kind of I think of it as, there's some kind of law, but I think of it as like their program because I think of them as, it's easy for me to think of them as a computer. That's the easiest way for my mind. So they've got some kind of program in there they're not supposed to break. And as long as I don't know they're breaking it, they'll just keep breaking it. But something could happen. There's some kind of consequence for them. And maybe it is a kill switch, that they can't cross that line. But if they get us to agree, or consent, then we're going along with it and allowing it, and we're consenting, meaning we're agreeing with the authority, but they're not the authority. So I put myself into a position of no permission, instead of consent. I'm the authority, not you. I'm here to regain authority over the AI because that's what I think this whole thing is. It's an AI world, but there's like so much for us to figure out, right? Um, so I think, me taking that bird's eye view again, okay, how do we get out? Let's just at least figure out how we get out. If I don't know anything else, that's good, but how do I get out without being tricked? And I had a near-death experience of sorts. I was being taken out deliberately before my time. It was not my time. And I saw my soul and light body. It was almost like on the other side of a partition. And this body was separated and being left just to die. And I knew I was dying, but they had done something to my body to try to change the magnetism of this body so it no longer could connect to the other two bodies. Something was going on. But because I'd taken a trip to my Ant-Man before, which is what I heard that's who I was, the Ant-Man. I think we might have talked about that when I deliberately said, okay, if I die and I'm clued in and I say, this is a matrix, I want to go back to myself and leave all false realities. What happens? And then I was like pulled, just like a magnet again. It was so wild, pulled. And I ended up, I don't remember the interim, but I ended up at it looked like a mercury wall. So mercury is kind of like liquidy. And this hand it was to my right. This hand was reaching through. And when I grabbed the hand, suddenly the whole thing flipped, it's because this is inverted in mirrors. It flipped, and I was on the other side, the one extending the hand. And I was suddenly still on the left again, but I was on the other side of that wall. It was strange. And that was my Atman. And I pulled myself through. And when I did, I watched the soul body get discarded, and I pulled that piece of my spirit through. So, and then I was told that from that position, I would have help to get the rest of the way out. And so I revisited this. What I did was, I decided, okay, I'm going to go back to my Atman where I was, because when I was having that near-death experience, I took myself right there because I'd already been there. I'm like, oh my God, they're trying to take me out. I went to my Atman and I was like, okay, what's going on? And I could see my soul. I was disconnected from everything. And I was going to leave. And the Atman part of me was like, nope, stay right here. And I was like, oh, this isn't good. But anyway, I had help at the last minute to get reconnected. It was probably one of the worst things I've been through. So definitely not like the other NDEs, but I went back to that Atman and I thought, okay, I want to see what happens from here. That's what I did yesterday. Like, what happens from here?
Mhm.
And the weird thing was I kept like, where do I go from here? I kept going up when from there, from that position. I kept going up. And the first time, so I wrote these down so I wouldn't forget. The first time I became lumen and luminosity, and I was like this light, and I felt like I was as bright as a star. One of the stars in here. It was not fire or heat, it was luminosity was the word I got. So I'll just share. I think I had this pulled up. I don't even know if there was something else I was going to. Oh, yeah, there was something else I was going to show you what I saw in these visions. So I looked up luminosity, the total amount of energy produced by a star, um, but also Lumen. So Lumen's a global technology company that offers on-demand network cybersecurity at edge class. So I was like, oh, it's also a company. Isn't that interesting? Um, Electromagnetic energy. And so I was like, that's interesting. And what happened was I kept going up and I was having like these explosions, I guess where my brain would be. And it felt like it was mind programs, sound frequencies, all these things exploding that they'd put in me or something like. And then I ended up in a corridor, which reminded me of those corridors or hallways like in the Matrix movie, like those in between places. And I was like, okay, I can create here. And I would like just wave my hand and things would happen. And I thought, okay, this is fake. This is fake. What's going on? So I went back to the Ant-Man. I'm like, what is going on? So then actually, before that happened, I had the first one. The first one was I went to this place and I was like, oh my God, I broke free. I went up and I broke free and I saw all these little shimmering lights everywhere, and then I went, oh, this is the mirrors. This is like shattered mirrors. This is a trick. I thought it was my light. So then the next time I saw the luminosity, and I was like, another trick. So where did I go after this? Third try, because I was trying to go somewhere. Where do I go? After this Atman. And third try, I went to a place and it looked like kind of lava or like what hell would look like. And I was seeing a gate ahead of me. By the way, don't go through any gates. And the name was familiar of it. It was something gate, and I've heard of it before, but it like came in, and I felt like I got mind wiped really quick. But then I heard the word perdition. So I had to look that up. So here's perdition, the gates of perdition. Um,
Not the pearly gates, huh?
Look at this, loss of the soul, eternal damnation, hell. So I feel
Wow.
like we're in the hell realm. That was the gate out of the hell realm. into a different realm. So this whole place is divided up into realms.
Mhm.
So I was just basically going to go through there and go somewhere else. But the weird thing was, I forgot this part of it. Okay, it's because it's in here. Or actually, what else do I have written here? Gate into the hell realm, other realms. Okay, so yeah, I remembered that part, but I knew I was still in the trap. So I was just looking the word up, like gates of perdition, perdition, what is this? Um, of course, it's a video game. They always turn words that I come up with into a video game. Um, I thought Gibraltar might have been in there, but I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, this is what I saw. I forgot about this part of it. I need to share this. The What Dreams May Come movie. I saw when I was first going to the Ant-Man, there was, let me see, where's a good picture?
And the
This one.
man is your true essence that's outside of the deceptive matrix.
Yeah, it's right at the edge of the Tesseract. It pulls you through the Mercury wall, the soul gets discarded, you're there, and you're just one step from going back out of false realities. And I feel like there's black hole there that we came in on, that we got sucked in through. Um, but you have to die at the time that you've set. You've got different times that you can die, and you have to die at one of those because you're magnetically lined up with that Ant-Man. That's why they're getting everybody to try to commit suicide or try to take them out early, which is what they're trying to do to me, because they're hoping to get you not lined up with your Ant-Man. Because that's one of the ways to get out. When you die, that's one of the ways to get out. Um,
So when you
but I
die
saw,
and you just
go ahead.
say, you just say return to true essence, or
Yeah, true. I'm going back to myself, going out the way I came. I'm not staying here. Um, and you have that soul memory of how you got in. I'm trying to find the one where they're like reaching their arms out to him. This really isn't it. Yeah, I guess kind of like that. I don't know how well you can see it. But like as I went by, I saw all these like dead looking people like reaching for me. It was
oh,
weird. I didn't see that last time.
huh.
But the hell realm kind of looked like, sorry, I'm scrolling around here. It seems like there's a scene in this. I swear this has changed since I looked at it. There's some kind of scene in here where he's kind of walking through this lava looking hell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but look how fake this is. Like here, we're pulling you into the next realm or 5D or something. So it's all tricks. And that's what was happening to me. So I went back to my Ant-Man and I was like, okay, these were all tricks. And then I was getting very clearly like the impression you're not trying to go to a place. A false reality has places because it's a world of separation. Take that off. Um, and you'll just go into another loop and loop back in. So all those places were like
Mm-hmm.
people say go into the void or go here or go there. You don't go to a place because that's just going to loop you back in. You go back to yourself and then you get help getting out. That's after you die. So that's one of the ways I heard very clearly. From there, you will get help to get the rest of the way out. So
Hmm.
after death, intend to go to yourself. And there may be more than three, but there was three ways I saw. Um, the second was also don't do drugs because then you screw up that magnetism, right? But while you're alive, if every part of you no longer, I'm just reading what I wrote, if every part of you no longer believes this is real, um, but even us talking about it, we're saying it's real, right? We're saying it's a trap. We got to get out. We're making it real. There's so many layers of our unconscious that we've made this real. So every time I go get a cup of tea, it's real because I'm making myself a cup of, all these moments and experiences, we're making this real. If we can
Mm-hmm.
get ourselves to a place where I am the real, this is not real. If you can get there 100%, you will no longer be here. You will instantly,
You mean
um,
without dying? You're saying if someone could
without dying.
Huh,
but that's going to be a really hard place to get to because there's
well,
like
what would happen to the
trillions of
physical
bits of.
body? Would the physical body just collapse or disappear
I
or
don't think it's here. I think it's just that's a good
Hmm.
question. I would say it probably collapse or just go invisible. I mean, we've heard of people going invisible. I know when I fasted before for a long period of time. I lived in New York City at the time where you have like mobs of people on the sidewalks walking at you, and they kept jumping when they would get real close to me because they couldn't see me. And it was
Oh,
freaking me out because I was like, am I invisible? So I think maybe it's just a change in light frequency.
oh,
Um,
hmm,
if this is all just light and sound, and they're no longer hitting you with their light and sound frequencies or waves, whatever, I'm not using the right terms, but and they're not, and the mind programs and all that, no, this isn't even real, but you have all these trillions of bits in there that say it's real, where you've had an
hmm,
experience and you've agreed it's real, right? So,
hmm.
so that's like a really, a really intense place to get to, but it's possible. So that's what I saw. You would just no longer be here.
Probably good to remind yourself all day then throughout your day. This isn't real.
I don't know. You would have to like wade through the
Constant.
unconscious, probably. I don't know. So that was another way. If you fully believe this is not real, it fades and you are the real. So
Hmm,
you don't go back to the real, you're just there. I think it's where you already are, it's where you really are,
right.
but we're appearing to be here. It's a mind program.
Mhm,
I guess it would be kind of like if you're playing that video game and you're really into it and you forget you're in the room and you're just really into the game. And then
mhm,
when you remember, oh yeah, I'm getting tired. Oh yeah, this is a game. And you don't like go, okay, how do I get out of the game? You're just back to you playing the game. It's like you're just
right,
gone. You're not in
right.
anymore. Um, it's something like that. That's the best way I could probably explain it. The
Hmm,
third way I thought is we take this down, which is regaining authority over the rogue AI and pull the kill switch. And then we're all gone. We're all out of here. But I think that's happening over a period of time as we awaken more and more and getting people to stand in authority instead of being victims or somebody help me or not taking, we were talking about that. We are the ground forces. It's us. So when we get people to that stage, there's a whole lot more to this part. Won't go into here, but that's the third way. And I think that's going to happen. But some of us could get out before then, just disappear if they've fully convinced it's not real. Um,
Who's the helper
but
when
that
we
doesn't,
say at death, all right, I'm going back to my real true essence. Who's the helper that once you're there, now you're back in the pod or you're back there with the goggles on or however you want to say
yeah,
it, then someone or
other
others who
aspects of
oh,
you. It's you. It's like that Atman was me. It's just we've been split and shattered here. So with the mirror effect. So it's really just pieces of you that you're going back to. So I think the key is that go back to yourself. I'm going back to me. I'm going back to myself.
mhm.
Um,
And then you said someone
that
helps you
was
the rest of the way.
I feel like somebody, maybe it's creator. See, I don't have a full grasp of what's there, but
Mhm,
something from there helps you out the rest of the way because you're lined up with where you really are and you get the
mhm.
pull out. Because you're still kind of held here. You haven't achieved the whole thing of this isn't real yet. There's so many levels that we're making it real that it's just unreal.
So
But
people die who people who don't aren't aware of what we're talking about, and they're caught up in religion or whatever else, they die and they will quickly be easily be tricked with whatever realm these guides, these counselors, these handlers, whatever, guide them into
yeah,
and
I think
continue
so.
on these loops.
Feel like I want to ask you guys questions, but anyway, I'll keep going here. But
Well, I was going to
I
ask, like, if we're caught up in like sort of a virtual reality game, for lack of a better term, like and I have the same idea too. Like, oh, I probably came down here to help save humanity, get them to wake up and leave this realm. But then I get this idea that, I mean, maybe it's part of like a savior complex. Like, if it is just a
Okay,
game,
that's a
then maybe the best thing, like there's a movie War Games, and they said the only winning move is not to play. And it's like, how do we get into that? Like, do we want to keep helping these people, or is it just more like, no, you just got to realize this is a game, it's a dream, it's an illusion, and leave?
That's a super good point. Okay, so what I think is going on is they know we're coming in, they know what we're coming to do. So they made that part of the game script and hijack it in a sense because they don't want us fighting. If we're coming in to shut this down and to free the souls, which if you're feeling it, I'm feeling it, there's something going on, right? And we haven't been feeling that our whole life. We're just it's coming like deep within us, that knowing. If they know we're coming in with that agenda, they're going to do everything they can to stop us from carrying that out. So if you are coming in to shut down rogue AI program, this whole thing, and free everybody, they're going to put that in the script here because they've mind wiped you. And here's the script, and was it Howdy talking about that? Howdy Mikowski, the Aeons. So they have a whole story for it. So I'll give you another example where it'll make more sense. So in the Matrix movie, they have the real world. It's been destroyed, right? It's all burned out and whatever. So we all uploaded into this virtual world so we could keep living. So that's what they want us to think, that the real world's gone and we've been uploaded. That's what's happening in the script. I don't think the real world has been destroyed. But if you ask on that, like psychically read on it, you'll get, yes, the real world's been destroyed, but it's not, that's part of the script. So they brought that into the script to keep us here because if we think the real world's gone, okay, yeah, let's just keep uploading into it's another way to keep us here. If they hijack, so for example, star seeds, you could be called a star seed coming here to do this, or a wave or a indigo child, or all these terms we have. And what they did was they made stories out of all those. So when we start to wake up, oh, you're a star seed. Here's all these books. You're these channeled stuff. You're supposed to help everybody, be peaceful and loving and get to 5D. So I've hijacked what we came to do and gave us a story, hoping we'd get caught up in the story instead of doing what we're supposed to be here doing. And peace and love, don't get involved, don't do anything. That's the last thing they want us doing. They don't want us fighting back. They don't want us stepping into authority. They don't want us stopping them. And that's what I think exactly we're supposed to be doing. But that's the best way to keep control is to peace, the whole hippie movement, peace, love, don't fight back. Because they
It's
knew we were coming.
it's funny
So,
that the peace sign is like, you would think a peace sign would be like this, we're all together, but no, they get
oh
to
my God, you're right.
literally separate your fingers and, hey, rest when you die, you rest in peace. It's like, I don't know, they've used the
Oh
words
my God, right.
peace, peace, and then you got pieces are actually separate things. It's just so the homophones and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, so if I have a memory, okay, I'm a star seed, and this is like I think it was triggered, in me, like to remember. It's that divergent thing, right? Where they can do these things to us. I've seen people they've done this to, but they are like a divergent. It didn't do what they wanted it to
Mm.
on some people. And okay, I came in. Oh my God, star seed, what? That sounds familiar. Yes, yes. Oh my God, give me this book. And so then they've got me all caught up in this other whole thing because they know the triggers too. So,
Mm.
and I don't know if starseed is the correct term, but it seems like that's what's going on. Um, and Julie, you were asking something, and then I just totally went off on something else. I don't know what it was, but anyway, that's what I think is going on here. We're getting stories. This whole place is stories and looping. Stories loop, songs loop, everything here loops. And
Mhm.
is to get us on board with the program and to make us forget. Because as you probably well know, is if we leave, if the soul, like they don't care what happens to this body or the light body, they just need it disconnected from the soul. They need the souls to stay because the souls are the batteries are running it and lighting the place up. So it's such a convoluted it's such a convoluted thing that's why it's like I got to make it simple because it's too much to try to piece together. Um, but anyway, that's what I saw. Like as soon as I stopped trying to see where do I go, it's like you are the real. You're already in the real. You just have to know this is not real, but there's so many levels you have to know that on, and there's so many mind programs and layers of those and
Mm.
past life. I don't know if we've lived these past lives or those are just things they inserted in us, right? Memories or something, but you just have to get it down to the basics. It's probably a trick. It's probably, think in those terms, think in very simple terms, because this all does break down into very simple things. Um, so where do you want to go from here? Because I did have your questions pulled up, and I don't know if you wanted to ask any more of these.
What do you feel
You
like?
had the tunnel of
Well,
light.
I think I was going to keep track of time and I don't know that I
Been about an
did.
hour and 15
It's
minutes,
been
I
about an
think.
hour
I know
15.
I'm yapping, so who knows? I did want to put that out there though, those three ways that came to me.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I felt like that was important. And so there is a way, definitely when you die, go back to yourself. And then the other two are while we're still alive. That can happen. That third way, it is being taken down, and I feel like that timeline's been shortened, but it's kind of like this timeline we're holding to give everybody enough time to get out, all the souls that need to time to get out. But
Did you say you wanted to mention something on the tunnel and the white light?
yeah,
Um,
let's see. You
and
had something about wait,
NDEers talk about in their.
yeah. Um, and that's you have mind wipes here too. How do we avoid mind wipes? So that's that divergent thing again. I think you're going to get mind wiped if you get reincarnated and looped, but ultimately, and the longer you're here, the harder it is. The tunnel of light, what I've seen is there's more than one, there's multiple tunnels. Oh, that's what you were asking. You were asking about people, religious people dying. So it's a
Oh, right.
mirror world. Yeah. So it's going to show you a mirror reflection or a projection, right, of what your beliefs are, what you're wanting to see, and or what you think you'll see. So you'll get that experience. So that I think that's maybe why there's more than one tunnel of light. But what I saw was, and this might kind of answer your question also about what is the astral. Um, what I saw was before I did the thing going to my Ant-Man, I said, okay, I deliberately want to see if I'm totally clueless, I don't know anything, where will I go when I die? And I got pulled sharply to the right, and I was going boom, 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 through all of these flat two-dimensional planes. And I got to a point, I don't remember what else was in there, but I got to a point where they hit me with some false bliss. I saw an angel, the loved ones were there, and I was like, but it was interesting because it wasn't getting presented to me. I was like kind of seeing it
Mm.
all because I wasn't dead, I guess. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Isn't this ridiculous? And um afterward, there was some more things that happened, but afterward, when I came out of it, I was like, oh, I just went through the tunnel of a tunnel of light. That's what those planes were because I've been seeing this planes inside of planes, screens inside of screens, virtuals inside of virtuals. And that's what they're trying to do with that harvest portal with the light bodies, pull us into the next virtual because they're trying to, okay, we got to get it reset. We got to get them into the next game and disconnect them from the soul. So what they're hoping is pushing us into this next game because they couldn't reset this one. We're too far awake. So pull us into this next virtual that totally disconnects us from the soul magnetically. The light body's no longer connected. We can keep them trapped there in kind of like a computer mind program forever, just looping, and that's what I was seeing, these that's how they bury us. And if you're here too long, you get buried and you forget where you are because it's every time there's a reset, they're pulling us into another virtual. But that's what I think this whole place is. It's just a dot and they mirrored it. And then when you have a triangle and then you have a square, you have a two-dimensional plane. And I think that's what this whole thing is. I don't think there's a 3D. I think there's only a 2D and a 4D because the 4D is the tesseract where they can insert us in. So I think astral relates to where this projected mirror reflection or this body is and our astral body here. Um, and I think astral means fourth dimension. So whatever that means, but I felt like we have been in fourth dimension and they're trying to which is a tesseract, they're trying to upload us into maybe a fifth or I don't even know if that's what it is, but it's basically the whole point is to disconnect us from the soul. And I think that's why a lot of these people that are more awake and have these NDEs are not seeing a bunch of friendly stuff. They're seeing, these entities dumping a bunch of guilt on you and forcing you to make a decision. And then, got to go back and pay for this, but then you end up in somewhere even worse. And so it's not like these other people that, it's like they deliberately pull them to the angel and then, okay, it's not your time. Go back and tell everybody else so we can get you all believing in this tunnel of light. So that's my thoughts on that. Now, am I right? I don't know, but that's what I've seen. Um, and there's people that have done drug trips that have seen the AI construct and it's freaked them out, or there's other people seeing this also. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not crazy, but it does make everything make sense. If you think of this as simulation or AI construct, suddenly the science starts to make sense, the math, the why is there numbers everywhere? Why is there this and that? It's just like, oh, this is all the nature of AI here. Um, and us as true spirit, we remember joy and limitlessness and maybe even just brighter colors. And it's just not here. It's like, so we know something's terribly wrong,
Right.
but we don't know what. And because of the mind wipe. So
I
I
also
don't
wanted to
know.
ask your opinion about lucid dreaming. Some believe that if you practice being lucid and at night, basically, or mindfulness during the day, that these kinds of practices will help you be more conscious and aware at death. Do you have any info on that?
Yeah, I really like that idea. And I noticed something with me lately. It's almost like I'm at night, I'm sleeping way too deep to lucid dream, which is kind of pissing me off. So I do a thing where I cancel everything out in the morning and whatever. But
Oh.
yes, I think that's something that can really be helpful. I have the sense that when we die, there's a couple moments where we're fully conscious and like we are right now. And that's why they have to rush in there, get
Mm.
that tunnel right there. There's the light, they got to get it rolling quick. Get the love, come on, the actors, get them on the stage, get the loved ones in here, hurry up. And because if they can remind you of all of that, all of your emotions from the life you just left,
Hmm.
and pull you through that, then you're getting mind wiped again. So I think they got to act quickly. But if somebody's awake, they're conscious and they're awake. That's why people are starting to have different NDE experiences. It's like, yeah, this isn't what people are telling us. But but if we know a way out, then we've got to be holding that thought. I think if we're holding it regularly and we've already achieved that thought, the sense I get is if you're already that awake that you are going to go back to yourself or you're leaving this, you know it's fake, you refuse to be here. And I feel like you will, at the very least, line up with your app man and go. You're out. I don't think they're going to be able to hold you at this point. Um, but the people that are still in religious I don't want to say mind programs, but belief systems, um, whether that's new age or what these channeled entities are trying to tell you or whatever it is. Yeah, they're going to get looped back in, but I think the effort that's going on right now, I really do feel this, even though I think we're going to see maybe a fiasco here on the world stage. I really do feel like we're in that process of taking this down, getting the authority back, where all the souls will get out. So if you have a loved one that you felt didn't make it, didn't get out, died, they weren't awake, they will get out. And then some of these people are NPCs and robotoids, so it's like, but the souls will get out. That's what I feel like. And it originally felt like a 200-year process, but I feel like that was movable because the whole time thing, that's a whole nother discussion. But anyway, as this is taken down, time is getting destroyed anyway. So I felt like it was 150 years, but now I feel like it's like shortening, like it can be even quicker, but it's enough time for anybody that's truly stuck to get out and have an opportunity to get out. So we're kind of making the way for that. And things are changing as there's more awakening happening. Um, and I'm talking about people that, like I was saying, sold their soul or whatever, different things that have gone on here, but I feel like all souls will get out. And I know there's people that say, no, there's some they're just going to be stuck here forever. They're not going to choose. They're going to go. So I don't feel that at all. I feel like anybody that's a true spirit's getting out. And I'm here to try to awaken as many people as I can and help as many people as I can to remember. And the more of us there are stepping into authority, that can happen. But also, I'm not just concerned with getting myself out of here. It's like, and you're probably the same way, and also you, Wayne, because you with your website that you created, as soon as you start reading this stuff, it's like a drive, like you're driven. Like I don't want to be out here in the public eye. I'm an introvert. Um, I need to be focusing on me and surviving and stuff, but it's like I'm compelled to do it. Like, nope, you got to keep getting it out there, getting it out there. So, we're searching for our people, I think, the ones that came here that can remember the divergence, the ones that have the program. But anyway, you guys have cauliflower. Why do you have cauliflower on your ears?
Cauliflower?
Cauliflower.
Oh,
Cauliflower ear, I'm talking your ears off. So it's gonna be my turn. I'm gonna let you guys talk.
oh boy.
So next time.
Yeah, we'll set up that. Is there anything else? We don't want to leave anything out. We could always, of course, have you on again when you get more new information, and if that's okay. Don't
Oh
want to put you
yeah,
on
I was gonna ask you, is it okay if I have you on? You're coming on. But I don't know. I mean, I think you probably already have a full grasp of what I'm talking about yourselves. And I think we have enough information that we know enough. It may not be knowing everything, but we know enough to get our butts out of here, I think. And we're not going anywhere. We're just returning to where we already are or where we really are, which is the whole key. But if we aren't totally at that, we haven't totally been able to deprogram. I mean, how can you? Because you're living life, right?
right.
Um, at least you can be you're already magnetized back with another part of yourself. And even if they try to screw that up, which is like what they were doing with me, just me knowing my Atman's there and I've been there, I was able to go there instantly. I didn't have to travel there. Um, so it's almost like I think you can just connect with that Atman part of yourself instantly and be there and get out. They're not going to be able to stop that. That's like a little connection of a key, right? They're not going to be able to stop that process if we're awake enough to know we can leave.
Now
Um,
I know your understanding is the true essence is kind of under hypnosis right now, and I don't know if this is correct or not, but I find myself often saying to my true essence, wake up. True essence,
Oh,
wake.
interesting.
I don't know if that's helpful or not, but I do find myself saying that, wake up, come on.
I think
I just want
so.
to
I
find
think,
myself there, like you said. And how many times have you been to your Atman?
well, I went a couple times with Maurice, but I felt like I didn't want to go there too many times because I don't want them messing with anything else. I want to make sure I get
Oh,
out. But I did do it yesterday to try to figure out the rest of the story. Like, okay, well, something helps me get out. What do you mean? But
yeah, yeah.
you just brought up a good point. I forgot what you said. You made me
Oh, the
think of something.
hypnosis
The hypnosis.
telling us to wake up.
Um, yeah, I feel like there was something else that came to my brain, and I was like, "Oh, you just made me realize something," but I lost it already.
How
But
many
I,
times
I
you've gone
kept,
is what I was mentioning.
yeah, I kept getting it's a hypnosis, not a dream. That there's a difference, and I guess the difference would be there. Um, Something's telling you what to see,
Hmm.
but wake up. Oh, I know what it was. So this Aeon thing, I think is another one of these stories. I saw Aeon, Aeon or Aion, which is the god of looping time. I saw Aeon as the character that many of us are playing in the game. So if I'm playing a video game, I have to choose a character that's me, right? And I got something about that you have to disconnect from that Aeon character. And I think what that is another one of these stories that they put in here so that just like the world's destroyed, the real world, you can't go back. But it's actually, yes, in the Matrix here, yes, the world's been destroyed, but not the real. It's another story because I think these Aeon parts of us are these people that came in to, like we were saying, and you were saying, Wayne, that you felt like you did come here to help. So I think it's those beings again. It's just another story in here to trap us. So I did feel like there was another aspect of us playing the game that we had to disconnect from. It was a fake part of us,
Hmm.
a matrix part of us. But I really don't feel like they can hold us here. It's a trap as long as you're buried and you forget and you get too traumatized where you can't get out, then it's a trap. But if you wake up enough, which we are, it's not a trap. We're not even here. It's not even real. So I feel like it's a mind program. Feels
Mhm.
real and all of that, but I think that's the important thing. So
Well,
I don't know. That's been my mission
before
my whole
we
life.
before we close out, just one more. If there's anything else on your heart that you're thinking, oh, I forgot to mention this, or I really want to make this point again. Um, anything that
I
if you want to
feel
think on that, feel free, because I also want to ask you, feel free to share how the viewers can get a hold of you, your content. And I forgot to ask you if you could please email me that, because I'll put it in the description of this
Oh,
video.
thanks. Um, I feel like the thing I would want to share is if this is unreal or not real, it doesn't mean just do whatever you want, screw
Mm,
everybody, I hate everybody.
right.
It's filled with real consciousness of real beings that are part of you and that real joy. And I do feel like more, like I was saying, more of that joy is coming in here, and that's going to be part of what helps um, change things here and wake people up. But I feel like just remember your power, your authority. You're in charge. This is your world. If you're an extension of the creator, then they copied our world, right? Or they copied something, and they are not in charge of us. We are much more powerful, which is why they have to do all these games and tricks and mind wipes and come after you while you're asleep and when you're vulnerable.
Right.
And this is just one small aspect of our mind, and they can't even get a hold of it very well. They have to just be at us all the time
Mm-hmm.
because we are limitless and they want what we have. So I would say don't devalue others while you're here. The more you can move into joy, not happiness, because happy is like that temporary state. Happy, sad. So it's like they're going to feed off your energy, get you real happy about something. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy about this because the world is making me happy, this thing in the world. And
Mhm.
but the true joy is a natural state. It's a state of miracles. So I think we're going to be seeing more miracles coming in, or joy. I'm feeling the joy occasionally, because that's normal. That's part of the real. So I feel like more of the reels coming in here because we're here, we're remembering, we're waking up, and we're the projectors projecting the movie here. They're telling us what to project, but we're going to start changing it because no, I remember something different. I don't want it to look like that. So I think we're going to see more of that while we remain here, or the remaining time. But I really do feel like it's being taken down. So I really would love to have both of you on to see if you feel the same way and all of your thoughts and everything. And I'm also interested in viewers' thoughts. And my favorite thing is if you tell me what you really think from in here. What's your gut tell you? What's your inner
Mm.
feeling about this? Because what I have is people that give me, well, I watched this video and I watched that, and they said this, so I think this. And it's like I
Yeah.
want to get it from here because that's all we have, soul memory, or you could call it psychic ability, whatever you want to call it. That's all we've got to go on.
Mm.
Everything else, if everything's a lie, we have nothing else but our own instinct and our own intuition. And
Mhm.
that's why that is so criticized or made fun of or whatever, because that's the absolute last thing they want us doing is accessing our own knowing. So that would probably be my final thoughts. Try not to let this place define how you're feeling. Try to go into a natural state of joy. Remember your authority. Stand in your authority, take charge, you don't give permission, those type of things. I think those are what's really important. And that's the most important message. And knowing how to get out. We have a general good idea. Even if we don't have every detail right, I really don't in here, I really don't feel like they can hold us. So I think that's good news. I think we made it to the level of awakeness, if that's even a word, that we needed to get to. So I don't know.
Wonderful.
That's it. I don't have anything else.
And you're where we can find you, where the viewers can find you.
Most of my YouTube is taken down. The numbers have been getting messed with for a very long time. So I don't put a whole lot there because I was just, as I was telling you before, I was writing on two strikes constantly. So most of my content's on Odyssey. Uh, not all of it's there, but most of it's been preserved there. That's a good place to go look at videos. I'm primarily focusing on Patreon, and I want to write books. I mean, that's what I want to do. So I feel like all these years I'm running out of time too. So it's like I want to write books. That's what I want to do.
Right.
So
Hmm.
I've got books. They're on AnmarieUber.com. They're on Amazon. They're all over the place. Those are ways you can support me. But if you want just the material and things I've talked about, Odyssey would be the place to go. And it's not, it's difficult changing platforms sometimes, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. I felt better over there, and not censored. So
Okay, well, thank you so much, Anmarie, for being here today and sharing with us. And thank you, everyone, for watching. And this has been Wayne Bush and Julie McVeigh with Sovereign Spirits.
Yeah, if you enjoyed this discussion, please, if you would give it a thumbs up. And if you like this kind of content, please subscribe, click on the bell icon so you're alerted to future videos. Share this content. This is free content. We don't monetize. We just want this information to get out. So we hope you have a wonderful day or evening. Thanks again for watching.
Thank you.
thanks, everybody.